This is a quick demonstration video of the Azure Black IP's Nuget module. This module is meant to allow you to track malicious requests that come into your ASP.NET websites. It is important to note that these websites may be located on-premise or hosted in the Windows Azure Cloud or any other cloud service provider as long as they are built with ASP.NET 4.5. The prerequisite for the module is the .NET Framework 4.5, and your website must be built with ASP.NET 4.5 or above for the module to work correctly. So how does the module work? I have created a small website to illustrate this. All the site does is expose one page with a single text box field and a button allowing you to post back some text to the server and have it displayed on the page that is returned. So let's run the website. Running the website will give us a Internet Explorer browser, and in the text box we can type in some text. Click on the submit button and the text will be displayed on the page as it is posted back. If you try to submit an input of type script, for example, like the one above, you will immediately trigger a validation error because ASP.NET has parsed the post data that you're trying to send back to the server and found that some of the values in the fields may be containing malicious content. The error page you see, also called the yellow screen of death for ASP.NET, will be shown only to the client that is actually sending out the request. You as the server administrator can only know about the fact that this error has happened if you check your event logs. So if you go to the Windows logs in the event viewer and you go into the application log, what you can see is that you will be presented with warnings of event type 1309 registered by ASP.NET 4.0, and these warnings will show you that a potentially malicious request was detected and blocked by ASP.NET along with details on the request. However, when you get a large number of these requests, it can be particularly tedious to parse the event logs for all of the occurrences of this event and try and detect who is sending these, if there are multiple IP addresses or just a single one. To aid with this, I have developed a Nuget package that will be injected into your application and that will be able to expose this data even remotely. To use the Nuget package, all you have to do is go to the Nuget Package Manager in Visual Studio in your solution, and then look online for a package called Azure Black IPs. Once you have found the package in the search results, you can go ahead and install the package. And what the installer does is it is going to bring in two binaries, which are going to be placed into the bin folder of your solution, and it is also going to make some changes to the web.config of your solution. That is why Visual Studio is prompting us to reload it. So you can see the two DLLs that have been added, called Azure Black IP and Azure Error Display. The module or the package also gives you a README where you can find out more about how to use it. And we can go and look at the web.config. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to format this a little bit so that it becomes a little bit more readable. And you can actually see what the configuration values that have been added are. So there are three configuration values that have been added. The first one, which is important, is in the app settings sections, and this value is called black IP logging, and by default it is going to be true, and it is going to allow the module to start tracing requests directly inside of your application. So if we run the application again, we will get the same website as before. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring in a browser from a distant machine and run the website on that browser so that we can actually get valid IP addresses. So here you can see that I have loaded the website, the same website, in a browser on another machine, and I will just go ahead and enter the same script certain tag that causes validation errors, and I will go ahead and submit it. As expected, the runtime will automatically detect the malicious post again and will give us the yellow screen of death. So I'm going to resubmit this a couple of times by hitting refresh, and that will prompt the browser to actually resend the post back to the server. Now what the module does is that it has added a new page into your application, which is by default accessible via the following URL, /display IP ERR. And when you go to this URL, what you will find is you will find the list of all of the malicious requests that have been detected by your application since it was launched. And you can see the name of the machine as well as the IP address of the machine that has been submitting these requests. Clicking on the details button next to each of the requests will bring up more details on that particular request, such as the client IP address, the machine name if that is available, the user agent of the browser or of the bot that submitted the request, the exception details, and here you can see exactly the field that was submitted, and you can also see the stack trace. Equally important, you can also see the request headers that have been sent by the machine that has submitted the malicious request. And then you can close the details to come back to the list again and refresh the page if you want to see newer errors. Now, the other configuration values that are available are the ones where you can configure the URL for the what we call the control panel page, and this is the display ip.err page. So if you modify the values in the HTTP handler section of the system web tag and in the handler section of the system web server tag, and if you change this from display ERR to something else, you can then make the URL available to any other, you can make this page available on any other URL of your application, which you choose. So I hope that you have found this presentation interesting, and I hope that you are going to be able to make use of the Azure Black IP's Nuget package.